Come on.
What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the only podcast produced by three two-time winners of IMSA's Spirit of the Race Award. This is the Check Engine Podcast, hosted on Anchor.fm and streamed worldwide on all of your favorite podcasting platforms. Nick, Andrew, and Tristan are back behind the microphones yet again. Holy shit, guys, it's December already.
Whew, it's December, and today we got our first, well, I don't know if I call it real snow, but our first snow of the Christmas season. So I immediately went Christmas shopping.
Yeah. How was...
You wait for snow? Seems treacherous to me.
No,
we might not get snow before Christmas. Who even knows?
I was going to say, there might have been a couple of Christmas Eves where Andrew was running around real fast.
No, it doesn't. I don't wait for the snow to go Christmas shopping. However, because this year, obviously, like baby, no one's going to be here in the state. Like none of my family's coming in. So it'll probably just be, the three of us and my parents for Christmas. Won't be making like a big meal or anything. It's just kind of like, not inspired to go Christmas shopping in the sense I'm not inspired to go to a place and just look around for things that I think would be good gifts for other people when there's not snow. Now, when there is snow, then everything makes sense. Then you want to hear the Christmas songs and the Christmas lights are all up, and that's nice suddenly. We got a little snow, and I decided to do a little Christmas shopping.
There you go. How far along are you guys with the shopping? Are you almost done? Are you not even close? Where are you guys at?
I mean, there was only one thing that Meg wanted, and I got that for her already. And I actually, this is a sort of off-topic thing, but I don't know how to ask for things that I want for Christmas. Does anyone else have this problem?
Same.
Nope.
Really?
Wait, like, nope, you don't have the problem, or nope, you don't know how to ask?
Nope, don't have the problem. I know people might not get it for me, but I always put together a list because everybody always asks, and it's easier than telling them. Oh. So I have a list, and often the items on it will exceed someone's budget, which just makes it easier for them. They can ignore the list and then buy me whatever they were going to buy me anyway. But I have no problem asking. So, because people are asking me for that list. It's not like, hey, you didn't ask for this Christmas list. Let me give it to you anyway. So,
I mean, I guess that's true. I just feel like, does it sound weird if I say that I feel like people who ask for Christmas lists are innately like, it's a little shady. It's a little iffy.
Like, careful. That's my mother you're talking about.
But no, do you know what I mean? It's kind of like, why?
I disagree a little bit.
Because they want to buy you a gift you want. This is his life in a nutshell. Nothing has a positive intent to it, ever. Andrew, I'd like to buy you a gift. Please provide me a list of gifts you'd like. What are you up to? Said no one ever.
What are you planning?
To buy you a gift, idiot.
Okay. No. All right. So that's
I ask for lists all the time, especially from my cousins who have the little ones. Just because, look, I don't see them often enough, and I'm not creative enough just to come up with a cool gift on my own. So just, hey, what have they been asking about around the dinner table the past few months? Like, give me an idea and I'll go out and find it. I stopped making lists, though. Like, I used to, Tristan, I was in your boat, like, every Thanksgiving about, especially because my birthday is also right around Christmas. So, like,
oh, yes.
Right around Thanksgiving, people are like, do you have your list? Your birthday Christmas list? Do you have your this? And I did that up until probably 3 or 4 years ago. And then, I don't know, I stopped. Like, if there was something that I really, really, really had to have, like, I've been fortunate enough where I've just been, like, nothing's been, like, uber expensive. I could just say, I'll just get it. instead of waiting to put it on my Christmas list, I can just go home with it now. So there's really nothing on like the want list ever anymore. So
Yeah,
Well,
around November, I put the brakes on my own spending because it makes it. I guess it makes it easier for everybody else. Like if I
Sure.
don't just immediately buy stuff that I want, and I can wait, a month, then I can not pay for it, which is nice. Delayed gratification comes with a reward, and then B, somebody else doesn't have to think up something to give me that may or may not even be something that I would want, use, etc. So
That's true. I guess I just don't, and that's another problem this year specifically. I have no idea of what I want, or I mean, there are things that I want, but they cost $700, and it's like, what's the point of asking for that, really?
yeah, exactly. But hey, we are not a Christmas gift
Not a gift
podcast.
podcast.
We are a car podcast, and we've actually got a really cool main theme for tonight's episode. I'm really excited to get into this a little later. So, Andrew, what are we going to be diving into in a few minutes?
Well, it started like this. Over the break, I think we were maybe taking the baby for a walk, just around the neighborhood. I saw a driveway that had the following cars in it: a black on black Camaro, one of the older ones, sort of like the I call them like the shark faced ones. You know what I mean? Whatever series that is, I don't know, from the 90s,
Yeah.
I think.
Mm-hmm.
A black on black Mustang, a black on black Suburban, and a red Firebird.
Oh,
And I thought to myself, now that's a curiously evil looking collection of cars.
true.
But didn't really think any more of it. Now, at a different point, completely across the neighborhood, there is a different house that has that regularly parks a white Honda Odyssey, a white Toyota Corolla, a white Toyota Camry, and a white Ford Expedition. And I'm like, that's an oddly neutral driveway. Just like true neutral, right?
Mhm.
Which of course is a term from the Dungeons and Dragons alignment chart, which I'm sure most people listening will have seen, that 9 grid, generally with pictures, right? There's generally meme pictures in each one, but it's like lawful good, chaotic neutral, that type of stuff. And so that got me thinking, what cars would go in each of these positions, in all these 9 positions? Because, I mean, creating a whole driveway is probably too difficult, but a true neutral would be a Ford, a small car, a large car, a van, and it'd all be white.
No, absolutely.
So, so that's what we're going to talk about. What cars would fit in? What car is lawful evil? What car is chaotic good? That type of stuff.
This is going to be really good.
I hope so.
I'm super excited for this. We've done some themed stuff in the somewhat recent past, but we haven't had like a true like culture theme like this in a long time.
It's been a while.
It's been a while. I think like what was that? Like the force rank list was what this is reminding me a lot of. We did that fighting game force rank list. I think that was last season.
Yeah. Ooh, that was fun. We should do that again.
That was that was a very fun episode. I have a feeling this is going to kind of take the same, follow the same course.
Also, by the way, I looked it up, and there are in fact Christmas gift podcasts. Oh, this one's from 2015, so it might not be the best list for this year.
Is it sponsored by a department store? Is it like the Macy's Christmas gift podcast?
This one is just called Good Christmas Gifts.
2015, it would have been the Sharper Images' last ditch effort to make themselves relevant.
Right?
Really? Wait, why do you know that?
I'm joking. I don't know that.
Oh. Well, listen, don't say so convincingly. That I believe that 100%. That is absolutely canon for me now. That Sharper Image made a last-ditch attempt to be relevant in 2015, and they tried to start a podcast
by releasing a Best Gifts podcast.
Exactly. Listen, man, if that would work, by the way, let's just say that would 100% work.
Andrew just being suspicious again. What are you up to?
Yeah, what is this?
What is this podcast up to? There is one about Advent inspirations for the Catholic audience out there.
Ah, got it.
And that one's from 14 hours ago. So this is hot and fresh. Let me tell you, Advent inspirations. This is the Advent inspirations podcast.
A little hot, fresh Advent for everybody.
That's right.
Yes.
But that's not us.
Anyways,
that's not us. Before we dive into the alignment chart building, anything else that we want to touch on? Kind of some quick hits.
Well, speaking of hot and fresh, I mean, we're recording on the day of days, the day that will live in Twitter salt infamy.
Continue.
Well, to date this podcast specifically, there was an F1 race today, and
do you want to really call it a race?
I do, because because I think that trying to make up a different term takes away from the fact that everybody's mad at everybody else, and that's good.
This was, I think this was one of the two most insane races I have ever witnessed since I started watching F1. We should probably pull up like a real summary, like blow by blow. Does someone have one up, just so we don't get it out of order, because a lot of stuff happened and the order is actually pretty important. Yeah, I don't have it. Let's see. F1 Saudi Arabia. Let's just see if there's like a punch by punch review of this.
Yeah, because I mean, it's hard to know where to start. It's
report and highlights from Formula One itself.
Here we go. Here we go. Okay. All right. Hey, they might actually, be real about what happened. I mean, the short teaser version is that frankly, in the most interesting F1 season in what I say at the beginning of the season, 10, 12 years, something like that, we're set up for what everyone hopes to be a very strange and intense finish to the season in the last race of the year, with a tie at the top of the points.
They are coming in dead heat. Whoever finishes, like, there's no if this then this. You just got to beat the guy. That's it. And guess what? No playoffs were needed. No knockouts were needed.
You didn't need runoffs for this?
You didn't need any of that. It just happened, I guess, naturally. But holy cow, yeah.
All right, where do we start? We start at the end of qualifying, I guess.
So yeah, we'll start at the end of qualifying, where Hamilton and Bottas had 1-2 for Mercedes. Verstappen was on his last lap, which was going to be good enough, I believe, to at least get on the front row, if not nip Hamilton for pole.
I thought he was on pace for pole.
It was, quote, the lap of the year from Christian Horner. Or was it? No, the lap of his life, qualifying lap of his life. But out of the last corner, coming to the start finish line, Max Verstappen clipped the outside wall and broke his right rear suspension. But as long as they're able to fix the car, which they did, his next best lap, or the best lap that he completed, counted, which was good for third. So it wasn't the worst case scenario. It's not like he fell back to a 10th quick lap or something like that. The Mercedes cars got out to basically a perfect start. They stayed in almost like a formation. They were like formation flying into turn one. For Bottas protected P2, Mercedes running 1-2, holding Verstappen back in third. All is well. Looks pretty straightforward. Heavy crash comes out with one of the Haas cars. Because of the safety car that was out, both Mercedes pitted, thinking, hey, everyone's going slow. It's the safety car. We're not going to lose as much.
Was it wet at this point?
No, there was no rain ever.
Well, I thought that. Oh no! It was the going to the mediums from the. Yeah, sorry, I'm getting ahead of myself. It was a Red Bull decision to go to mediums
Later on, yes.
later on. Yeah,
Yes.
yeah. Wasn't
So Mercedes says, hey, everyone's going, safety car, everyone's slowing down to whatever it is, 80 kph or 100 kph or whatever it is. So we're not going to lose nearly as much time. Let's pit now for our hard compound tires to get us to the end. So they pit, and they had come out second and third behind Verstappen under the safety car. Well, then the FIA decides, well, there's holes in the Armco barriers where this car hit. We need to red flag it.
Well, no, two cars, qualifying and the one in the race.
Right. We need to red flag this to replace the barrier. So they pull all the cars in for the red flag. Well, under the red flag, you can change tires. So Red Bull was able to change the tires on Verstappen's car and keep the lead.
Yeah, looking at a essentially a zero pit race.
Yes, basically a zero pit race. So Hamilton chasing down Verstappen. Verstappen driving. Oh, well, hold on a second. Safety car, they come out, they restart the race, standing start.
Yes, because of
Hamilton actually got a better start, was actually leading into turn one over Verstappen, but Verstappen decided just to cut through the chicane, basically.
That's right, I forgot about
just not turn at all and drive straight, just drive straight out into the lead.
And then the stewards were like, no, you give that back.
You actually can't
do that.
You can't. Well,
but he didn't give the spot back for like a lap. Well, okay, no, but that's part. Okay, all right, no, keep going. So this is why we need the list.
Yeah, we need it. There's so much shit happening. So yeah, Verstappen cuts through the chicane to get the lead back, like about as blatant as you can get. Like, it was the weirdest. I'm like, what is he doing?
Like, maybe he just is Senna.
What is he doing? But that lap, there's another red flag because there was another big crash, like a 4 or 5 car pileup that blocked the track.
I saw one. Well, again, I always watch the reaction on Twitter. Someone on Twitter, and I forget who it was, blamed Verstappen for the way he re-entered the track, saying that he intentionally. Wait, was this then? Yeah. That he drove in front of Hamilton and slammed on his brakes to cause, not intentionally to cause the accident, but that caused the accident way in the back of the field, which is conspiratorial. And I also love it. So I obviously believe it.
You can believe it. He cut in front of Hamilton, but he did not cause the accident behind him. That was Leclerc hitting Perez. But anyway.
But but did he cause Leclerc to hit Perez? See, you're not thinking, was it 5D chess?
Maybe. Yeah, maybe. So now it's red flag again. And the TV broadcast is televising all these calls from race control back to the teams. And they're basically bargaining with the... Like, this is the weirdest thing because you're fucking race control. You make the decisions.
There's a court... Meanwhile, there's a court case going on.
But you're bargaining with Toto Wolff and Christian Horner because, yes, they wanted... Verstappen to give that spot back that he, cut through the chicane to get. And they're like, so he's like, Christian, here's my proposal. I'm like, wait, proposal? Like, you make the rules. You just tell him what to do. But he's like, you need to give the spot back to Hamilton. So, when we pull out from the pits here under the safety car, Hamilton jumps in front of you. And Christian comes back and goes, we will do that provided that Esteban Ocon, who kind of squeaked through all this chaos to get into second before the red flag came out.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, he was in second.
We will do that provided Ocon's on pole. And it's like, and Hamilton isn't. And it's like, no, you don't get to choose. Like, no, you just do what they tell you. So like they're bargaining back and forth. And it turns out that, okay, Ocon's going to be on pole. Hamilton's going to be P2. Verstappen is going to be P3. So they line back up, do another standing start. Verstappen makes it 3 wide into turn 1, and actually cleanly on a 3-wide pass gets the lead back, which was amazing. It was an incredible move. It was amazing. An awesome move. So he wasn't this, whatever, penalties be damned. He was going for it, and he got the lead back. Lewis gets around Ocon. Lewis is chasing him down. There's debris everywhere, so there's virtual safety cars like 2 or 3 times. And then Hamilton finally gets close enough to throw a pass attempt on Verstappen.
I think it was in DRS.
It was in the DRS zone. Verstappen just completely does not brake, runs Hamilton way off the track.
Yeah, I mean, okay, whatever.
Like he didn't even attempt to make the corner.
No.
And so they're like, okay, Max, you got to give that spot back.
Again.
So he slows down in the middle of the straightaway, but like he does it quick enough where they didn't even get to tell Lewis that Max was going to give the spot back. So
yeah, it just was like, so Hamilton didn't pass. It just looked weird. It just looked like,
I think with all the virtual safety car stuff happening, I think Hamilton thought it was another one because Verstappen just slowed down, but he was right in the middle of the track. He didn't move over to let him by. And then you can see on the onboard when Lewis does move out, like Max turns into him.
Yeah, he was dead on the racing line on a straightaway, and just like, so then it was so weird.
And then Hamilton clips the back of Verstappen's car.
Yeah,
just like knocks a piece of the front wing off. We're like, and I'm like, what the fuck is happening right now? And without saying it like that,
it kind of sounds like you're describing an F1 dream you had.
It's so weird. It was so weird. And then, what happened after that? So,
wasn't that it? Well, I mean, it's
no. So he still hasn't given the position back.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
So he still needs to give the position back.
Yep.
So what was a really clever move, they actually showed in the garage afterwards, Toto Wolff laughing about it because he's like, I see what you did there, Max. He waits until the DRS detection zone, slows down, so Lewis passes right before the line, so then Verstappen can get DRS, dives underneath him in the subsequent corner to pass back for the lead, and then turns on his DRS and drives away.
Yep.
I'm like, okay, that was pretty crafty, actually. That's wasn't
clever.
Bad. That was very
That's
clever.
Very good.
But, oh man, I'm describing this in such a terrible way. I'm just trying to remember how this all went down. And then they come out and say, okay, there's a 5-second time penalty for Verstappen for like running Lewis off the racetrack or something like that, or using the going outside the curbs to gain an advantage or whatever they said. So now he's in the lead, but he's got to lead by over 5 seconds to even win. But then his medium tires gave out and Hamilton was able to pass him anyway for the win, even with a damaged wing.
Yeah, I want to say it was like, no, I don't remember.
And with a damaged wing and a harder compound tire, Hamilton comfortably sets the fastest lap of the race, which gives him an extra point, which ties the standings going into Abu Dhabi next week. But it was absolute chaos.
And yeah, Hamilton won, obviously.
Hamilton wins.
Well, and the best thing is
second.
And the best thing is too, like as of when, because I was looking for a recap before we started, because I was trying to get caught up. I've been out and about all day, didn't get to watch. And like the end of that article from only like an hour and a half or 2 hours ago was like, and all of these decisions are being investigated. Things might still change.
Correct.
It's like, oh,
yes, correct.
Yeah,
but
cool.
I don't think they're going to change.
No, I don't think they will
don't.
either. But it's just, they're like, the stewards are still investigating. Just so you guys know.
It's
the most. Martin Brundle is a hero for what happened at Coda already. He's announced like a million F1 races since he retired, right? And it was just, I've never heard someone be so direct and like damning in like a British way. Like his takeaway on the race as they were signing off was Max Verstappen really needs to think about the way he approaches race driving. Like he has just had enough of Verstappen's shit.
I mean, I guess, but on the other hand, it's kind of great.
Oh, it's fantastic to watch.
I think it is the season of facts for Verstappen still, and he will never Verstappen. I just think it's all great. I think it's fantastic. I mean, is it, because it's one of those things, right? As a fan, as not as a fan, as someone who's even just casually watched the season, you have to wonder, is he still thinking about Hamilton, quote unquote, cutting him off? Where was that, in Brazil? At Silverstone, way early in the season.
Yeah, it was a long time ago.
June.
Yeah, is he still
6 months ago?
Did it all come to a head today, or is this from what other race was it when
Monza?
Well, yeah, Monza, when he got punted on turn 1, not by Hamilton.
Yeah, when he kind of jumped over Hamilton's car.
Yeah, right, exactly. Like, that's what I would do. I would do all this shit.
I was thinking about that coming into today's race. Like, what if he did just pull a Senna? He's 8 points up. So going into turn 1, if he just doesn't break and runs through Hamilton and takes them both out, he's still 8 points up. And then if he does it again in Abu Dhabi, he's still 8 points up.
Well, if he does again, or if he does it in the final race of the season, doesn't he technically have the tiebreaker because he has more victories?
9-8.
Oh shit! Can you?
Now they're tied, so it doesn't matter.
Oh no! Is there? What is a tiebreaker scenario?
Yeah, he's still got the tiebreaker.
Yep. Yes, I'm wrong. Good call. Yeah. So 7 more days to wait on this and see what happens. Like,
can you imagine?
There's a very light murder at Abu Dhabi.
Can you imagine the shitstorm if he were to do that?
Oh, especially in today's social media world. Holy shit!
I mean, so I guess the biggest takeaway from me is that I think in terms of the storyline of F1, I guess both in a literal and figurative sense at this point, there was a bit of a lull. There was like a mid-season lull in terms of excitement. And honestly, I get bored and uninterested in F1. I learned this year, when the team managers get involved. I don't care about them, and I don't care about the races they drove in F1 30 years ago, and I don't care about their personalities, which is essentially, if you're going to get really into F1, that's like a key component. You have to care about these guys, and I just don't. In the same way that I don't care about most football GMs. You know what I mean? Like there is a bit of that in all sports. Mm-hmm. But I mean, you couldn't ask for a better script.
This is, yeah, you said it. I can't say it any better. That's it. Like, I cannot wait till next Sunday. This is going to be insane.
Yeah, I'm definitely watching.
Like, even if you just tune in for the first 4 laps when they're all really close, just to see if anything happens. And then when they all spread out, it's like, okay, that's kind of how it's going to go. But like, at least for the start, you've got to see what kind of shit he's going to try to pull.
So watch for hijinks.
Oh my
Definitely
God.
That. And no matter who wins, I mean, out of the two of them, one is going to win points just based on, one of them has to finish higher than the other one.
That's it. Like, it's not like if one wins, the other has to finish 6th or worse or any of that kind of scenario. It's like they could finish 1-2, and whoever finishes ahead is going to win the whole thing. The only
tie scenario is if they both wreck, and God,
Verstappen wins.
The world might explode. The world might explode if that were to happen. And so, I mean, this race just because of the number of things that happened in today's race and the order in which they happened, everyone on Twitter is absolutely furious. Everyone's apoplectic with everybody else for every single thing. It's all everyone else's fault. And that's great. That's my favorite part.
Yeah, it's definitely entertaining to watch all of it. Can we just real quick though, this might be my soapbox because I don't know how much you guys watched or care. Can we just talk for a second about how shitty a track that is?
I don't know that much about racetracks to say. Is it really that bad?
It's an inaugural race. It's the first race ever in Saudi Arabia, and it's a street track in Jeddah. And it's 3.8 miles. It is the second longest track behind Spa, the second fastest track in terms of average speed. The average speed at a street course, 157 miles an hour.
Seems quick.
But the whole thing is just like,
oh yeah, I had to pull the track map. I didn't remember.
You go through a bunch of S's where most of the time you don't even have to lift. There's a hairpin. And then you go through another bunch of, it's like 2 Suzuka S's sections connected
that's good. I like that. Yeah.
Connected by a couple of spoon curves from Suzuka on either end. But the thing is, it's a street course, so there's very little runoff. And because the walls are so close, it's all blind. So the drivers are saying, hey, fun. They all said in practice, hey, fun to drive. It's super fast. You're back and forth, very technical. But if something happens in front of us, we can't see it. And we're going 160 miles an hour. Like,
it is kind of an interesting little map.
It's, I don't know. That's just a little aside. But I just think the track is god awful.
I mean, I think what we have to...
Now,
well, it seems like
from a casual fan perspective, maybe not, because it made for a chaotic freaking race today. But
it did. But I'm just wondering if this is going to kind of be F1's thing going forward, because I mean, imagine the street condition in Miami if that somehow ever gets off the ground in a real way. Mm-hmm. Like it seems like they're trying to push new fandom by putting races in cities.
Mm-hmm. I think it's a great strategy.
I think it's an interesting strategy, but I also think that it's going to lead to this same issue all across the globe, right? No one builds streets to host F1 races. That's what racetracks are for. And and this is just going to be a thing. I don't know. I guess my thought is get used to it.
Yeah. I'm probably going to have to, but I don't know. At least the Miami circuit from that map looks like there's some braking zones where passes can happen. It's not just weaving and S-ing back and forth at full throttle for 90% of the lap. So that's just my take on that. But wow, what a season. Yeah, holy shit. What a season.
The weirdest thing, I mean, it does make me wonder about the validity of every decision coming from race control in an F1 race, seeing them bid the race out. Like, I don't know about that.
I think that was the craziest thing for me is like, why are you negotiating with these people? You make the rules.
It's very sus. Because I mean, what they should have no power, right?
None.
Red Bull in that situation should have no power. Let's give the spot back. There is no other thing. I mean, if they don't give the spot back, they just black flag him. Like,
disqualified.
Well, imagine that in any other sport too. Like, all right, offsides, 5-yard penalty. We will do that as long as the tight end number 83 can't play the next play. Right? That's the only way we're going to do it. No one would do that.
We'll give up our 5-yard penalty as long as it doesn't result in a first down. It's still third down.
Right.
Yeah,
they've gone the distance to get a first down, but it's still third down. But that's the only way we're going to say yes.
We will allow you to enforce this penalty. Bullshit.
How did it get to that? How did it get to that point?
I don't know, man. But something for other series to learn, like IndyCar, IMSA, maybe even NASCAR.
You got race control.
You've got to do that. It makes it very interesting.
That's true. Maybe always broadcast.
You should
race
always
control.
broadcast race control with the teams. I think that's fantastic.
It is weird that no one's talking about that in the sea of boiling rage, in which half the people in the world are very, very mad at Lewis Hamilton. Half the people in the world are very, very mad at Max Verstappen. No one is like, hey, that was weird. So I guess this is just the way it is.
Leave it to us.
I guess it's just accepted.
We'll be brave.
Yeah.
Are they supposed to do that? Yeah, we can move on from that. We've spent 20 some minutes on it now.
It deserves it. It deserves the time. I mean, you're in a position, at the very least, everyone listening to this, watch the highlights and get ready to watch live next week. Or if you can actually find a replay of the race, it's probably worth it.
Yes. If nothing else, watch the condensed highlight package that F1's going to put out on YouTube in the next couple of days.
YouTube or any, there are a ton of F1 YouTubers that do like commentated highlights. Those are probably worth watching. I would encourage people to participate in this. And I never thought I'd say that about F1, but I definitely think people should go out of their way to be ready for next week.
Yes. Maybe we should have like a viewing party next week.
I would actually let's think about what way we can do that, because I don't think there's been F1 energy of this kind in our lifetime. I really don't.
Not recently.
Well, probably not since Schumacher.
Right. This is insane. So we should figure out a way to set that up. That'd be great. But we should probably move on. Do we want to jump right into the alignment chart build, or do we have other things?
I don't have anything else, Tristan.
No, only a picture that I posted to our Instagram for the first time in a year. But
hey, well, where can they find that picture?
At Check Engine Pod.
Yeah, we might as well get into that real quick. You can find that picture at Check Engine Pod on Insta. Andrew, if they want to dive into the F1 Twitter arguments, where can they find us?
At Check Engine Pod. I am doing my best not to just retweet everyone I think is funny, saying really funny stuff about these F1 races, but I will do it a little bit.
I know I've said this before, as long as we're on this F1 topic, but my God, the Drive to Survive producers right now.
Yeah.
Oh,
they must be happy.
They are very happy. You can find us on Facebook if you look up Check Engine Podcast also. So be sure to like, follow, share, post, DM. You can reach out how and when you can. Give us topic advice. Tell us what you want to hear about. Just get in touch with us. We appreciate it. Thank you in advance. Now, Andrew, let's dive into D&D a bit, hey?
All right, yeah, let's play some tabletop games here. Okay. So, like I said, what we're going to do is go through the alignment, the Dungeons and Dragons alignment scale chart, whatever this is called.
Alignment chart is what I've
grid.
seen.
Yes.
Alignment
grid also.
And try to suss out a car that fits for each of those. But what is the way we want to do this? So the chart is 9 squares, and it runs the rank is lawful versus chaotic on the x-axis and good versus evil on the y-axis. So bottom left-hand corner is lawful evil, top right-hand corner is chaotic good. And I do have the definitions for everything because we're definitely going to need these. But do we want to do, how do we want to do this? Do we want to go like good, neutral, evil? Or do we want to end on the good because Christmas? Or what do we want to do?
You could just not choose and end on neutral.
Well, yeah, okay. We'll end on we'll end on
the middle.
Yeah,
we'll end on the middle. And there is, if we want to do bonus round, there is also introduced in the new 5th edition, unaligned. All right, so here's what we do. We're just going to go in the order that they're introduced. So number 1, lawful good. This would be your top left-hand corner. I got the official definitions. Yeah. A lawful good character typically acts with compassion and always with honor and a sense of duty. However, lawful good characters will often regret taking any action they fear would violate their code, even if they recognize such action as being good. A crusader is an example, or a knight or a paladin.
Yeah, following the rules is essential to creating a consistent world, is the definition that I saw.
And duty is very important.
Duty is very important. So, what car exemplifies that?
My submission for this is actually the brand new Ford F-150 Lightning.
Really?
Yes. So duty, truck, obviously self-explanatory.
Mm-hmm.
Honor. Yeah. I don't know about honor in a car, but it's associated with like hard work, the American way, And now I guess we can say compassion, because you can kind of do like the electric lets you power the house. So it's like giving back. You know what I mean? Compassion, eco-friendly, quote unquote. I don't know.
See, I went that way with the eco-friendly, lawful, good side of it. I didn't really take the duty part into consideration. I was more thinking of something like, my first thought was like a Yaris, something from Toyota, or maybe a Nissan Leaf, something like that.
What do you think, Tristan?
So to me, like, I didn't see compassion as like, I guess I didn't interpret it as the good for the environment kind of thing.
I mean, that's just what I thought would be the closest.
Yeah, no, and I don't necessarily disagree with it now that you guys mention it. It's not where my brain went immediately. For me, I haven't picked a model specifically, but I was looking, what jumped to mind immediately is Volvo.
But why?
Because the cars are reliable, they're safe, they're, the company as a whole has maintained a like positive, almost duty bound, image towards keeping others safe. Reading that it was the knight, the paladin, the crusader,
Yes.
like, to me, the always rather uninteresting in the context of fantasy books, but the good guy. Volvo was the good guy car.
But it's like the step beyond that, though, and that's why I think maybe Yaris isn't the right choice for this. I think Yaris might be neutral, because it's like the Superman good, exactly what Tristan said, the somewhat boring good.
But not
in that they only do that.
So we've got Volvo, we've got F-150, and we've got Yaris.
I'm definitely not against Volvo, but actually with what you're describing, Tristan, really makes me think of Saab from back in the day. Yeah,
I was trying to keep it to current.
Yeah, it is tougher to do that. So, okay, I could get behind Volvo. I now that he's explained it, that makes a lot of sense to me.
It's like they don't. It's like they don't have any pretense towards, they make nice cars. It's not like they strictly, like they used to, made just safe boxes. But it seems like they're mostly focused on being a good car company, safe car company. They've got some weird stuff with the Polestar and a couple other things, but it's like they're not out here to make friends in the, fancy car world. It's just like, hey, we're out here to make safe good guy cars. But
you know what, I'm on board with that too, but we did mention that we're going to pick a model and not just brand.
No, definitely. So here's what I'm saying. Just pulling up I have pulled up the Volvo site just to see how this fits, and actually fits really well, because right underneath their main picture, it's luxury that cares, sustainable materials, committed to safety since 1927, blah blah blah.
Well done, Tristan. Good.
Yeah, so I mean, he's really got something here. So here are our choices.
Like a V model, like the station wagon.
A V model. So so the electrics, they have a C40, the XC90, the XC60, and the XC40. I will actually put in for the XC60 because it's like the mid-size plug-in hybrid. It's actually cheaper than the pure electrics. It's the lowest price out of all of these, actually.
And back to your point about like duty, it's actually got, whether you use the back row for storage or anything else, it's got some capacity to do other things.
There you go.
Which kind of brings it closer to the F-150 side. I'm good with the XC60.
I'm into it in white.
Yes, my Volvo in shining armor, white knight.
Exactly. Ooh, okay. Yeah, I'm happy with that.
All right, lock it in. Volvo XC60 white.
All right, neutral good. A neutral good character typically acts altruistically without regard for or against lawful precepts such as rules or tradition. A neutral good character has no problems with cooperating with lawful officials, but does not feel beholden to them. In the event that doing the right thing requires the bending or breaking of rules, they do not suffer the same inner conflict that a lawful good character would. They have a bunch of very unhelpful examples here. Cloud giants, gnomes, question mark. But the archetype is benefactor. So like I thought of this one. I thought of like a nice old man.
Yeah, because famously, and my parents and I have joked about this. Famously, the older you get, the less you care about listening to rules.
Yes, exactly.
You're still out there to help and be a nice person, but I'm gonna go around that velvet rope they put up because I have to go do something.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Neutral good. Who does anyone have a immediate answer for neutral good?
My first thought on this one, the old man thing kind of changes my perspective. But before that description, my head almost went to like a Civic, because it's a decent car, it's a good car, but also like the more casual definition I found was I mostly follow the rules, but sometimes I'll bend them. What's important is that everyone is having fun. That made me think of Civic, because it's like, yeah, it's in this box. It's going to get you where you want to go. There's nothing truly special, but you know what? They do make a version that comes with a stick. So you can have a little fun with it at the same time.
That's true. Definitely true.
And so reading the same definition, I think I found the definition additions that Nick found, was I actually went right to, and this might be too far. So I'm not married to this one. But the TDI golf, not afraid to bend the rules. But really they're doing it for, supposedly a good purpose. You have fun, you get good gas mileage, it's safe, it's a good guy car. You're not seeing, Ray Fiennes in a black turtleneck driving a TDI Golf, as a villain somewhere. But in the name of making a more favorable driving experience, they're willing to bend the rules on diesel emissions now and then to get things done. So
they didn't feel that bad about it.
Yeah, they didn't feel that bad about it. I'm not sold that they're contrite in any manner.
That's interesting. I like the TDI quite a bit. My thought, because my first thought was old man, I was like, well, Crown Vic, blah blah blah. It wasn't really around anymore. Nothing from Cadillac fit to me. Nothing that you would think in the boat arena of old people cars really spoke to me. But you know what did? The Kia Soul. That is a car that a lot of old people drive.
Yeah, honestly, the Kia Soul is a car that surprisingly just a lot of people drive.
It's true. It is
just
very
surprised in general, but yeah.
But I was thinking, they do make the 200 horsepower Soul. The Soul. They used there. I don't know. There was some terminal, but it was just Soul with an exclamation point. Why would they do that? Who is that for? Well, it's got that nice long warranty. That's nice. You get all the safety stuff. It's a top safety pick. It looks nice in a kind of very neutral way. It is. It has nice things. But I'll bet you it's also one of the most ticketed cars. So
cute little rule breaker, you.
Yeah, I don't know. That's what I was thinking.
Soul is okay.
I think TDI is better.
You think? I was thinking more like just because of the TDI piece, that would fit more in the chaotic good. But
I could see that.
But
yeah, like I said, I wasn't married to it, and there is something to be said for it. To be fair, it wasn't a little light rule breaking.
That's true. It is funny to phrase it like that, but it's really not what it was. It was a systemic, intentional thwarting of international
emissions laws.
International emissions laws, at every level. All the way down to literally the chip manufacturer.
Yeah, it was pretty comprehensive.
But you know what? I think we'll double check on the chaotic good there for that one. But sorry, I've totally forgotten because of all this nonsense. Nick, what was your choice again?
For neutral good, I had
neutral
this.
good.
I picked civic.
That's right. That is a good fit.
Up to you guys. I think the soul is a good choice too. I'd be okay with it.
I mean, they're very similar.
Very similar.
Yeah, so the qualities that you guys pointed out were kind of the same on both.
Yeah, I think civic just because it's so. I mean, it's always in that.
It's very
10.
neutral.
Yes. A nice gold, quote unquote, but it's really like tan civic.
Yeah, champagne.
If they still make that color. What colors are civics coming right now?
Black, white, gray.
A black
lighter
civic?
gray.
Is it a black civic?
A gray Civic.
A
Gray
gray.
civic.
Tell my wife
Colors.
hello.
Oh, this is dire. All right, so color specific. We got red, blue, black, gray, and silver. A slightly less dark black. Hold on. Hold the hell on. Okay, I'm going to have to name these colors simply because you'll find out. Crystal black, lunar silver, meteorite gray, morning mist, another silver, platinum white, sonic gray.
So that's like 2 silvers, 2 grays, a black, and a white.
Yep.
Something like that.
It's got to be one of the grays.
Also, Nick's
Yeah, it's
camera
gotta be-
is frozen. Like he's giving me the absolute stare down.
Really? I'm seeing him just fine.
He
Yeah, I'm
caught,
seeing him
he caught back
seeing
up, but
myself
he
just
was
fine.
giving me one of these.
Nice.
As
Yeah,
an-
so
as an
a
aside.
gray and or silver civic I think fits perfectly.
In neutral good. Got it.
I think the fact
Definitely.
that those are almost your only color options cements the deal.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah.
100%. Yeah.
Absolutely. I didn't think I
Um,
was going to get any choices on this board, so I'm happy that I got one out of the way early.
Well, all right. Why would you not? Never mind. All right. Chaotic good. A chaotic good character does what is necessary to bring about change for the better. Disdains bureaucratic organizations that get in the way of social improvements. And places a high value on personal freedom, not only for oneself, but for others as well. Chaotic good characters usually intend to do the right thing, but their methods are generally disorganized and often out of sync with the rest of society.
Tesla,
elves,
anybody?
unicorns. Okay, the archetype is rebel. So, a TDI strong contender.
Yeah,
I thought
fits
actually
better there.
my thought actually was Tesla.
I mean, the TDI is really good too, and
It's really good.
I know we don't like anything Elon Musk, so if we can avoid putting him on this chart, that'd be
I would-
great.
That would
The
be my preference.
Bad news is that I also was going to say Tesla.
Really? Oh
Yeah.
no.
So, which is why I jumped immediately at the chance to say, no, TDI is better.
What was your pick for that one, Nick? Did you honestly pick Tesla?
Me? Yeah.
Damn. I mean,
Like a Model
you know
S,
that we
right?
have to.
Yeah.
I was thinking Model S. I was, or what's the Y maybe, like the one with the
out
the
of sync
butterfly
with
doors.
society. The Model X is
Definitely.
the Falcon doors.
Oh yeah, X. Yeah,
Yeah,
the X. Yes,
out of
yes,
sync with society.
100%.
All right.
It
Tesla
does
Model X
all of
it
those.
is.
I mean, change for the better. Definitely disdains bureaucratic organizations.
Well, that's for sure.
Yep. High value on personal freedom.
SEC,
It's
anybody?
gotta be, it's the X. It's the Model X. Mm-hmm.
That's probably the easiest one we're going to have all night.
That was the easiest one. All right,
Yeah,
so that was
by
all the
unanimous
goods.
decision.
Yeah, that was all the goods, if you can believe that.
All right.
Jumping down to the neutrals, a heart full of neutrality. Lawful neutral. A lawful neutral character typically believes strongly in lawful concepts, such as honor, order, rules, and tradition, but often follows a personal code in addition to, or even in preference to, one set down by a benevolent authority. Examples of this alignment include a soldier who always follows orders, a judge or enforcer who adheres mercilessly to the letter of the law, a disciplined monk, and some wizards, ? Archetype judge.
This screams German to me.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yep.
But it can't be anything from the VW group.
Mercedes.
I thought Mercedes this one was actually really hard for me because I mean we're talking about corporations, so logically they all like do a little Cheataroonie every now and then.
Cheataroonie.
A little Cheataroonie episode title.
I'm gonna call it that. I'm gonna call it anytime I cut a corner or anything else. I'm
It's
gonna
gonna be
call
Cheataroonie.
it a little Cheataroonie.
Yeah. But I think Mercedes is good. I really struggled with this one. I don't have any bangers.
My first thought was the standard Jetta. Just like your base Jetta.
Because of what happens when high school kids get them?
Well, I mean, it's just here it is. We're building within this box. It's going to get you from A to B. Why would it need to do anything else? This is how it's supposed to be. Why would you think of doing anything else? Why would you think of breaking the rules? This is it.
It's not that they can't fall to corruption, Andrew. It's just they start neutral.
Sure. That's true. A petrol Jetta would have to be.
Yes.
Yes, absolutely. Base petrol Jetta was my choice, but I like the idea of a Mercedes too.
Yeah, just because it's a little fancier, like a C-class Mercedes.
Mm-hmm.
And a judge would drive a Mercedes.
Yeah, versus a BMW or something else.
Right.
They're the car that makes sense and doesn't
right.
offend anyone. Don't look over at AMG. Do not look at them.
So what are we talking like
C or S class?
I was thinking base C class.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
I was thinking C class.
Yeah.
In
I'm
silver.
all about it. So, is there a second color? No, I didn't.
It's a Mercedes. So. It comes in silver and other silver.
How many silvers are that? I will poke around to find out how many silvers they offer.
We should. That's
the silver arrows. Remember that.
That's our next power ranking chart. Is how many silvers does your brand offer?
I wouldn't be mad about that. Oh, come on. Just show me the colors. Don't make me do the stupid build. And
do a configurator.
By the way, every single car on this website is silver. I know everyone knows that already, but every single car on this website is silver.
Yeah. Like you literally say Mercedes-Benz, and I think silver.
1, 2, I'm counting that. 3, 4 silver and or grays. 2 blacks.
Mm-hmm.
2 blues, 1 white.
4 grays, 2 blacks, 2 blues, and a white.
Yep. You hate to see it. Anyways, that fits
your Mercedes
perfectly. Yeah. that is
neutral.
That is
good.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay. True neutral. The true neutral. A neutral character is neutral on both axes and tends not to feel strongly towards any alignment or actively seeks their balance. Sure. Druids frequently follow this dedication to balance. This one just talks a lot about druids. So for an example about what a druid could do, or a true neutral, that's actually pretty good. A typical true neutral would fight against a band of marauding gnolls only to switch sides to save the gnolls clan from being totally exterminated. The archetype for this one, undecided.
Agnostic.
The undecided voter.
Basically.
This one's really hard.
Yeah, because
this one might be the hardest one.
Because it's hard to be true neutral. I mean, I think when you read that description, it's like knowing that you just had this druid fighting against you, and now they're fighting with you. You're as likely to get taken out as the people you're fighting against by the people you're trying to save. It's a tricky spot to be in, both in a fantasy context and in a real life context. It's hard to be truly neutral.
The only thing that came to mind for me was Camry.
And here's actually where my vote for the F-150 hybrid comes in.
Ooh, okay. All right. Yeah, you first.
Oh,
you first.
that's spicy. Go.
Yeah, because it's, it is kind of neutral. Like, it's not the full electric where they're like, I want to do good. It's not the whatever that gigantic naturally aspirated V10 they just came out with, like 9-liter V10 or whatever. The new Triton successor, where it's the Earth Stomper 3 million.
Yeah.
But they still are going to put a gas engine in this car, but for balance, we're also going to put electric in this vehicle. And I think that, and without any goal of like a lot of other hybrids, like the Prius or a lot of the Hyundai Ioniq line, where it's like, we're doing this for good. It's basically Ford's like, we're doing it so that our fleet gets better gas mileage. And that's about it. It doesn't, it happens to do some stuff well. And, it's like, who would argue that a Druid doesn't do things well? But it's in it for, I felt that the hybrid F-150 is in it for truly neutral reasons.
That's true.
You're not
kind of pass through.
Yeah, it's like all the commercials are this F-150 hybrid. It's an F-150. They're not saying like, and you can save the planet with this F-150 or whatever. It's like, this is an F-150 hybrid that tows like an F-150. It's like, oh, that's a sentence that doesn't mean anything. So
yeah,
it's, to me, it seems the ultimate, get an F-150 hybrid in gray. And that seems like a very neutral vehicle to me.
Okay, I'm into that.
That's a good explanation. I was thinking more, my thought on this was almost like a brand wise, I went to Kia. Because sometimes they play by the rules, sometimes, they have a little fun. They're kind of right in the middle. And if I wanted to, like a specific model, I was almost thinking a Telluride, because it does all the things that a standard SUV would do. But then it also packs in these little innovations and little things that you wouldn't normally think about that kind of go outside the norm. Like the fact that it's got the sunshades built into the door that you can roll up in the back, or you can, like, an optional thing to add on is a coat hanger that hangs on the back of the front seats, for your suits or your, whatever. Like it's sometimes it just kind of stays in its box like an SUV, and then sometimes it can go outside of that box and have a little fun with it. Get a little crazy, not too crazy, just a little bit.
Get a little loose,
a little bit.
I mean, I guess that's pretty much
extra
the same
spritzer
argument
on a Friday night.
Pretty much the same argument I would make about Camry, because I mean, TRD.
Yep.
Remember the whole grounded to the ground campaign? Camrys are the most or in one or two spots, the most stolen car. So they're used for a lot of criminal activity. No, not in Milwaukee. That is very true. So they're probably used for a lot of crime. But it's also the family hauler, the most purchased car. I mean, we know this and that and a third. But they've always had the V6. They've always had some kind of fast version, and now they made a truly fast version. I don't know.
See, to me, that always seems like more the chaotic neutral, where it's like, they're trying to achieve neutrality, but it's sometimes not by truly neutral means. The fact that the fact that it's like we want to be the most sold, most ubiquitous, most visible car in the world, but we realize that sometimes you have to get a little crazy to get people to buy more of them. It's like if they're because and like if it were true neutral, you'd also expect that they sell like a 3-cylinder one with only 2 seats in it. Like,
right.
Just like they'd have to go crazy in the fun department and then crazy in the useless and unfun department to be truly neutral.
Gotcha.
But that's where my brain went, is like, yeah, but we actually like this car because it's a little wild, which doesn't scream true neutral to me.
That's true. Okay, no, I like that. I like that. All right,
That's actually a really, really enticing argument. And I was going to say before that I like Tristan's argument for the hybrid F-150 here.
Yeah, I do too. I think that's good. Yeah, I like it.
Mark it down.
Yep.
So it is written.
With a heart full of.
And then do we just want to put the Camry in chaotic neutral right away?
I mean, let's just read it. Well, let's do
figure it out. We'll figure it out. Yeah.
A chaotic neutral character is it maybe not fit according to this definition. The chaotic neutral character is an individualist who follows their own heart and generally shirks rules and traditions. Although chaotic neutral characters promote the ideals of freedom, it is their own freedom that comes first. Good and evil come second to their need to be free. Examples of this alignment include bards, I guess is actually pretty good. Archetype free spirit. Ooh, that's tough on the old Camry.
Yeah, free spirit doesn't really fit Camry.
No, sir.
Is this okay? This is something that just popped into my head. Just bear with me for a second. Is this like a Lotus, like an Exige or an Elise? We're like, hey, I just want to have a good time. I'm not trying to hurt anybody. There's not a lot of them around. They're not very powerful, but they handle like a go-kart. You know, I can feel like a race car driver. They play by their own rules.
I like that. I like that a lot.
Yeah,
I was thinking Caterham.
Ooh.
Oh, okay, so the funny part is, I was thinking McLaren.
Ooh,
so we all had British sports car companies.
yeah, that's funny. That's really funny. You could also say Ariel Atom.
Yeah, Ariel and Ariel Atom. The Nomad.
Another British company?
Yeah, yep. The Nomad. If you really want that to lean in on the free spirit vibe.
I actually really like that. I really like the Nomad.
The Ariel Nomad?
Yeah. Because I mean, Ariel Atom, already ridiculous, just a metal skeleton with a V8. But now also monster truck tires.
Yeah. And again, it's like
roll cage and monster truck tires strapped to a bomb.
Just living by their own rules and not out to hurt anybody, but everybody looks at them and goes, "What are they doing?" And then they say, "I'm not trying to bother anybody. I'm just trying to have a good time."
The visual embodiment
other people, but you know,
it's like the visual embodiment of fuck it.
Exactly. No, I think that's I really like that one actually. I love that.
Mark it down.
And this is why we wanted to like do it live and talk through it versus like I know we're all kind of presenting what we were thinking, but I don't think any of us had like, this is my official answer for this blah blah blah. You know, like we do with a lot of our other round robins, because sometimes things just evolve, like the Ariel Nomad.
Exactly.
I love that answer.
Yeah, it's awesome. Now the fun ones, the evils,
says Andrew.
Well, they're always the most fun. Lawful evil. A lawful evil character sees a well-ordered system as being easier to exploit than necessarily follow. Read that wrong. Easier to exploit than necessarily follow. Examples of this alignment include tyrants, devils, corrupt officials, undiscriminating mercenary types who have a strict code of conduct, archetype dominator, ? Kinky?
Ooh.
Corrupt officials, tyrants, devils.
Lawful evil.
My thought, Hellcat.
I was going to go with chaotic evil on that.
Yeah. The reason why I say Hellcat, I guess my thought was Charger Hellcat, I guess. Well, because 4 doors. And I think it fits this description because all they did was thunk a massive engine in the front of a already big car, and pour a bunch of gas into it to make it go really fast. Then they what did they just cut like extra holes in the front of the car to put more air into the engine, and then released it onto an unsuspecting public. And not that that's necessarily corrupt, but they obviously follow all the rules of the road. But you're still selling a 700 and whatever horsepower engine to people who should definitely not be driving that.
Yeah, but they're doing that on purpose. So isn't that like chaotic because of the purpose behind it? Like, we're going to do this when we know
Not
we
necessarily,
shouldn't.
because what you got to remember is that those cars have track keys, so you can get the
Good point.
no. I said the wrong goddamn car. That's the Demon. That's the Challenger Demon. That's the car that should be lawful evil.
I was almost thinking more along, my thought on it was like a wicked powerful SUV, like a Jeep Trackhawk or an RSQ8 or something like that.
Okay. Tristan?
My brain went in a complete other direction.
That's okay.
I was actually thinking when you're looking at like lawful, like this system is easier to exploit than follow. I'm going to do it this way for my own gain, and it's evil. Like those 3 things or 4 things all pushed together immediately jump to the GM ignition switch scandal cars.
Oh God.
Where it's like we know that within this system we're going to be sued. We know it's going to cost us this much money. If we just don't do that and sell all these cars, we'll actually still make more money than the lawsuits will cost us. We'll work within the system, but it's super evil.
True.
Now, I didn't think directly into the demon, devil, etc. archetype.
Oh no, I wasn't.
But
I wasn't thinking that necessarily either. Not because it's called the demon.
Yeah.
I just think that making a making a car that comes with a set of bicycle tires for the front for when you put it in drag mode, and you get the tools to do it, and you get all this crap. This essentially so you can say, we make a car that has 7 octillion horsepower and have that as your tagline for your entire model range. I mean, that's like, it's not evil necessarily, but it is manipulating the system.
I mean, and the other side is, I know we've already mentioned it, but sadly, this isn't a manufacturer. Because Volkswagen would 100% fall in this category.
Lawful evil.
Yeah,
you betcha.
But it's hard to pick one car from that.
All right, so run down the choice again. I said Dodge Demon.
I said either a Trackhawk or an RSQ8.
Yes.
And Tristan, yours was the
Chevy Cobalt with the faulty ignition switch.
I don't make those now anymore.
Yeah, that's true.
Okay. So, well, I mean, let's see here. The Trackhawk. Wait, Dodge Demon first. I mean, that's like that engine, right?
Yeah, it's this
8. Sorry, that's the 800 horsepower one. God, how can you keep track of this shit? Honestly,
so many horsepower.
So the Demon is 800 horsepower and comes with the whole set of tools and the special key and the this and that and the third. The Trackhawk, which is not trail rated. People also ask, is a Trackhawk faster than a Lamborghini?
I would say not.
I don't, stop giving me the size of the engine. Stop. You have to stop. 707. Okay, right. A middling 707 horsepower.
Not as evil. Not as evil.
Not as evil. And really, it's not the demon iconography. By the way, the demon got a 9 out of 10 from Car and Driver.
That's interesting. So we're marking down demon.
That was expensive.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I mean, I still think that's. I think the demon is an appropriate choice. I mean, and I think right here a little bit more evidence of people also ask, which is the new Yahoo Answers thing. By the way, these are hilarious. Is the Dodge Demon illegal?
Technically, no.
and then below that, why is the Dodge Demon banned? Stop.
It was banned from drag racing, though, right?
I was just gonna say it actually was banned. Holy shit! Oh, okay. Come on!
All right, Dodge Demon, it is in gray.
Yeah. Okay,
or white.
That's fun. Yeah, that's a fun little.
Oh, it's evil though, so it's not neutral. It's got to be in red or black.
Well, and yeah, it is in fact in red or black.
I'll mark it down red.
Yeah, I suppose it better be.
I'm jotting notes down on this. We will build this chart when the episode drops, and we'll get it out on social so people can kind of see the chart and some of the definitions and kind of follow along with this. So,
yep. All right, next, neutral evil. A neutral evil character is typically selfish and has no qualms about turning on allies of the moment, and they usually make their allies. They usually make allies primarily to further their own goals. A neutral evil character has no compunctions about harming others to get what they want, but neither will they go out of their way to cause carnage or mayhem when they see no direct benefit for themselves. Another valid interpretation of neutral evil holds up evil as an ideal, doing evil for evil's sake and trying to spread its influence. So the first type of neutral evil character would be an assassin who does not needlessly kill, a henchman who plots behind their superior's back, or a mercenary who readily switches sides. An example of the second type would be a masked killer who strikes only for the sake of causing fear and distrust in the community.
A terrorist.
Cloud giants, everyone knows that.
Sure.
And the archetype malefactor. Don't know what that is. Tristan knows what that is.
Yep, probably.
I've only ever heard the word.
And in this, by the way, so I'm also looking up pictures, just I'm curious. They have the alien as neutral evil. That's just a killing machine.
Yeah.
I think that's the point. I think that's closest to evil for evil's sake, where it's like they're just killing and breeding for the sake of killing and breeding. There's no like, once we manage to get 1 million aliens born, we're going to build this utopic society. It's literally the only goal is just kill and breed, and that's it for evil's sake. So
sure,
it makes a little sense, but it's not the best.
Ooh, the neutral ones are tough, and I think it's because I don't know why. Why are the neutral ones the hardest ones?
Because they can go either way. There's no set definition.
So I can start with one.
Yeah,
it's gonna be because I also had trouble with this. I took a spin on it specifically from like a car owner's perspective.
Sure.
Okay.
Not anything to the broader world or whatever, because I had to narrow it down to make it make sense. But it's the Nissan Altima.
Ooh, okay. Say more.
Because they're just out there making cars for cars' sake. They're not making cars to make them better for the environment, to make them more fun, to make them built better, there's no higher purpose from like what we can see based on how rare their facelifts and new engines and everything else come along. The other one I was thinking was like another Nissan, like the Z's. There's not really a lot of work done. There's not a lot changed. They're just out there building them for the sake of building them. And that's kind of where my brain went, is Nissan above all seems like a car company without a goal to me. And in the meantime, it's not just neutral. It's like they're making cars that are noticeably not as good as they could be or should be which is a negative from a car owner's perspective, which is what put them towards the evil side. But it was a stretch. It's all I had. Talk amongst yourselves.
I think your description of the Ultima and Nissan itself as a brand is spot on. But
your description, yeah.
But to me, that almost falls into true neutral. They're just kind of doing it to do it. I don't know where the evil part comes into that.
Interesting. His description actually made me find what I think might be a fantastic answer. A car that I just recently railed against very hard for a very long time. The Alfa Romeo Giulia.
Yeah.
Yes.
This may very well be neutral evil.
Neutral evil, absolutely.
Because the car itself, famously, and in every long-term review, in every magazine, every single one of those cars had shitloads of problems. So it does actively harm others, but it doesn't go out of the way to do it. It just quietly fails while it's sitting in your garage one night. It doesn't kill you while you're driving it.
Yeah, it's not a notable fireball. It's just bad.
Right. And yet, I mean, all of the, we don't need to recap it. All of the threats from people who love cars so much that if you don't love an Alpha, you don't love cars, and this and that. If you've never driven one, you've never, whatever.
All the gas keeping and gate lighting.
Yeah, exactly. All of that. I think this
perfect.
Tristan's interpretation of this says Giulia to me.
Yeah, and I think that's
Tristan's interpretation. I love the Giulia as the pick.
Yeah, you found the better example.
Yeah.
No bother even hearing my thought, because that's way better, and I didn't even think of it, and now I'm ashamed of myself for not thinking of it.
Shame.
I was going to say M6, but good pull, Andrew.
Interesting. Okay. All right. Yeah. All right. Chaotic evil. Last two here. A chaotic evil character tends to have no respect for rules, other people's lives, or anything but their own desires, which are typically selfish and cruel. They set a high value on personal freedom, but do not have much regard for the lives of freedom or other people. Natch. Chaotic evil characters do not work well in groups because they resent being given orders and usually do not behave themselves unless there's no alternative. Examples of this alignment include higher forms of undead, violent killers who strike for pleasure, demons, orcs, and the picture that I have to point out, it's the Joker, baby. Archetype destroyer.
See, this is where I went to the demon or the Hellcat. Because if you think about, like, you at the top right, we had chaotic good. Tesla doesn't care about breaking the rules, but they're trying to, with the electric cars and the carbon neutrality and all that kind of stuff. Whereas the Dodge group is purposely going against that. Like, you want to go electric, here's more displacement, burn more fossils, and we don't care.
Yeah, but they weren't doing that to be evil. I think my interpretation of the demon was that they were literally just doing that to pump life back into a car that at that point hadn't been redesigned for 10 years already. You know what I mean? Like, you got to do something.
You hear that, Nissan? You got to do something.
Yeah, exactly. Or you end up exactly where Nissan is.
Yes, exactly.
So the issue for me with this one is that when I hear that, I think of the first thing I think of is what cars constantly burn or catch fire or somehow kill their occupants.
Chevy Bolt,
and
baby.
So Chevy Bolt was a good one. My thought was Tesla Model 3. They be crashing like a lot. But it's probably the Bolt.
What do you think, Tristan?
Yeah, man, I don't know. To me, I almost have to go with the Model 3 because of the willful description or misdescription of the autopilot program.
Yes.
It's like, they know that it's not what it is, yet they keep telling everybody this. Like, the Bolt was a mistake. maybe there was a cover up. Like there's some stuff that could have gone better, but like the willful, repeated misguidance regarding the autopilot system in general. But yeah, the Model 3s are out there crashing all the time, and there's something different about those, and yet they don't pull autopilot or change their messaging or anything else.
It's because it's their cheapest car. It has the least power. It literally has the least amount of computing
Processing
power.
Yeah. Yep. So
to run their not autopilot.
Right. So it's like, to me, that's the winner for me, and that's what came to mind. Is I didn't pick a model, but I had my eyes set on autopilot, because we've repeatedly described that as just evil mayhem, just misdescribing this to people. So if the Model 3 is the one that's falling prey to this delusion more often than anything else, I would say go with the Model 3.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, I think that's a fair description. All right. So we have completed the first ever CEP D&D car alignment chart. A lot of acronyms there. So do a quick review. We're starting from the top. The Lawful Good, a white Volvo XC60. Moving across to Neutral Good, we have a gray Honda Civic.
I just for whatever reason, I don't want to interrupt you, but I saw the Volvo, and without even trying to think about it, I just saw it with the license plate on it, WHTKNT.
Oh, that's very funny. Thank you for that.
Just entirely just popped into my head.
That's awesome.
This is my existence, guys. I'm sorry.
Moving to the Chaotic Good, the top right corner of this chart, Tesla Model X. Moving down to the middle row, the Neutral row, Lawful Neutral, the base C-Class Mercedes. The middle square on this chart, True Neutral, is the F-150 Hybrid, and Chaotic Neutral, visual embodiment of, hey, fuck it, Aerial Nomad.
Definitely.
Bottom left, Lawful Evil, a red Dodge Demon. We move to the center, the Neutral Evil. Great pick, Andrew. Great call on the fly here, the Alpha Julia. And then
thank you.
Lastly, the Tesla Model 3 with Chaotic Evil for purposefully misinforming the public around their autopilot system.
Love it.
I think it's a great list. I think we did a really good job with this. I loved this.
Yeah, this was fun.
Yeah, and it's I would say probably Nick would be the least likely to be already tuned into this. So I'm glad it got a positive Nick review.
Yeah, not once have I ever had any interest in playing Dungeons and Dragons, but this was actually really, really fun for me to put together with you guys.
Know what?
So this is awesome.
This made me wonder if there were, in fact, any tabletop car games.
Oh, for sure.
Yes.
For sure.
And there are, and they all seem weird, as you would expect. In fact, when you look up car tabletop games, is what I did, you get mostly board games, which sounds very odd. There's like a couple racing themed board games, which could be fascinating. But,
potential review episode later.
Well, see, that's what I was thinking. More to the point, there is a tabletop game called Gaslands that just had a major update in 2019, where your models, your character pieces are Hot Wheels cars that you customize and paint and put guns on in according to, you make your Mad Max car, and then you... How much do I have to explain tabletop games here?
I think you're good. I think people are getting it.
Yeah, you play on a
tabletop,
like a tabletop board, a terrain.
Yes,
essentially.
Yeah.
In this case, and that actually sounds kind of fun to me. Like, I might look into seeing if I can get one of these.
We should do this over the holiday break.
Well, see, the interesting thing about this as a car game compared to like model based games like Warhammer and stuff, you could really easily do this on just like like printed, like those driving carpets. You know what I mean? Like you could assess movement penalties for different areas, and there's going to have roads. So, you have no movement penalty on the road. It just seems like this is a tabletop game that could actually be somewhat playable without $10 million in investment or 50,000 hours of painting.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yep.
I'm gonna check this out. I would be interested in seeing this.
That would be really cool.
Anyways, so I'll do that.
Yeah, you do that. And in the meantime, is there anything else on this one, or should we get the listeners out of here for this week?
I think that's good.
Yeah, I think so too. Almost another full 90 minutes if it's all adding up, right? So I think we're good. So thanks for sticking with us today, everybody. We appreciate you listening, but we don't want you just to listen. We want to interact with you. We already mentioned how to find us on the socials. As you're streaming on your favorite platform, be sure to either hit that subscribe button or leave us preferably a good review, if you don't mind. That'd be great. If you're really into what we're doing and would like to support this podcast monetarily, you have two options for that. You can go to patreon.com/Check Engine Podcast or hit the support button on our Anchor page. That is anchor.fm/Check Engine Podcast. Every cent pledged is put toward making this a better experience for you, the listener, and none of it goes back to us. So we appreciate anything that comes from there in advance. One quick note. Another way to support us monetarily was our merchandise holiday pre-sale through Styled Aesthetic, the pop-up shop. If you're listening to this episode, the shop is now closed. It closed on December 3rd, and you should expect the shipments to go out mid-December. It should hit you before the holiday if you got anything as a gift and need to wrap it. So thanks to Styled Aesthetic for helping us out with that. Thanks to all of you who ended up purchasing anything from that store. We greatly appreciate that. Guys, is there any special thank yous before we get out of here?
I feel like I thank my wife a lot, but that's cool. I'll just thank her again.
It's okay.
Just because she recently got her COVID booster and felt like a little sick on it the next day, and it's as a guy with a baby, there's only so much you can do, right? So it was the baby's first week at daycare while Meg went back to work, and so when we picked her up Friday, from Friday up until probably this very moment, the only thing the baby has done is stare at Meg all day. She just stares awesome. At her. And when Meg is not in the room, the baby looks where she last saw her until Meg comes back in the room. She's not unhappy. She just only wants to be around her. And that probably was much harder when she didn't feel great. So yeah, thanks to her for just doing it, I guess,
That's awesome. Just staring, waiting.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yep.
Tristan?
Yes, I have a kind of belated thank you, but the staff of the Holiday Inn in Columbus, Indiana, gets a shout out for definitely letting in my dog that weighs more than 70 pounds. But we can't prove it because we haven't weighed him for a while, and taken our word on it. So we had a place to sleep during our last road trip. I think they saw the look on my face and went, "No, let this man sleep. Don't give him a hard time." So shout out to them.
Yeah.
Thank you to the folks at Holiday Inn Express.
And what about you?
I would like to thank the drivers in Formula One, not only for making this a crazy good season, but I think it came back to light this weekend racing in Saudi Arabia because some of the human rights issues going on in that country and some of the other countries where F1 races. The standards for LGBTQ plus citizens of Saudi Arabia is just appalling. And, whether it be, painting your helmet a special color, to wearing a certain t-shirt, to asking the FIA officials to have like real serious discussions with the governments in the countries that they go to Sebastian Vettel, who staged a go-kart race in Saudi Arabia for women.
That's awesome.
It's really cool that these drivers recognize that they have a platform, seeing that Formula One is the second most popular sport in the world behind soccer, right? Like millions of eyeballs on them 11 months out of the year, and they're using it to, maybe it's not immediate change, but at least start the conversations or continue the conversation. So I think it's really cool to see. And it's not something that has been prevalent up until, unfortunately, the last couple of years, but they got to start somewhere, and they're doing it. So I applaud them for that. So
yeah, definitely.
Thanks to the grid of F1, and as always, thank you listeners for your continued support. We love hearing from you. We love recording this for you, and we cannot wait to speak to you again. Until we do, take care.